Hey, everybody. I am Trey Rowland, and I am here through Tomahawk Nation with a special venture, a special project. I am here to introduce to you the triple option presented by Tomahawk Nation. This is going to be something unique, something that nobody's ever done before, and if they have, they will not do it better than us. What we're going to do, we're going to break down the Florida State game, hopefully after wins, even after losses. We're here for everything. We're going to break it down, and we're going to give frame-by-frame dissection with two people much smarter than me, best analysis, entertainment, inner analysis, infotainment, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be here as kind of the very unathletic point guard, if you will, and I'm going to be kicking it to my two analysis gurus. First, we've got Coach Adam Brown. My man does a lot of stuff on the Whiteboard Wednesday, big-time contributor for Tomahawk Nation. Adam, say what's up to the people.
What's up, people?
Adam, man of few words will not be once the clips get running. Very verbose, and I like it that way. And then my second guy, my number two, but not really my number two because both these guys are far more intelligent than I am. My video vice lord, the man behind the XsandNoles YouTube account. You know him. You love him. Because to know him is to love him. Kevin Little. What is up, Kevin? How you doing?
How's it going, Trey?
I'm doing good. We have a win. So this is going to be great. We're going to do it planned. If you guys care, and I know you will, once a week, going to be breaking it down, going to have commentary, and going to have, in my opinion, two of the best in-game analysis analysts on the Florida State beat. This is where I get all of my info from that I steal and make myself sound smart on the internet. So it's the triple option. It's going to be a well-oiled machine. I'm going to be throwing it to back and forth, and it's going to be, just think of this venture as like a Paul Johnson offense running at its prime with slightly less cruciate ligament damage. So let's get into it.
But does that make you the QB, Trey?
Unfortunately, yes.
All right. You can be the big back, AB.
I think I'm big enough to be the A and B back.
Oh, okay.
Fight over the fullback. Fight over who's my dive guy. Adam, I feel like you're a dive guy.
Please, I'm all center, baby.
Guys, Florida State won. Florida State beats FCS opponent Jacksonville State by a score of 41-24. Things were looking very, very shaky right at the beginning. True freshman Tate Rodemaker, Kevin Little's guy, big Tate guy, got the start. Looked a little shaky. Florida State goes down 14-0, 21-7. Jordan Travis gets inserted to the game, and with him, an offensive identity. So, Adam, what was your overall thoughts on the game before we start getting into the nitty-gritty of the analysis?
Yeah, I mean, what I thought was incredible was basically between quarters 1 and 2, they found an identity with Jordan Travis. I mean, I laid it out post GT in our four verts segment and just talked about how this team needed to find an identity, and I thought that they were able to do that. And we laid it out about Jordan Travis. Alex Atkins goes back with a history of running the quarterback. Norvell's got a history from his early years of running the quarterback. Dillingham, obviously, with Gus Malzahn at Auburn, would running the quarterback. We knew that they needed to find something they could hang their hat on, and that's really what they did. And what was amazing to me is they, between a quarter, did that.
Very impressive. Florida State, up to this point, a team looking for answers. I believe Kenny Dillingham said it. We just need to find out what this team does well. And up until the second quarter of Jacksonville State, the answer was a resounding nothing. We did nothing well. But we found something that we harnessed with a mobile quarterback, RPO game, triple option stuff. I was a fan. Kevin, what did you think? What did you think of what happened, what transpired during that Jacksonville State game?
So I got to be honest, I kind of got the insider scoop that Tate was starting early, people at the game, they were in the Slack talking about it, and I was excited, right? Like, first,
bumped.
I was like, I didn't think I could be excited about Florida State playing Jack State, but I get to watch Tate Rodemaker. A little honesty. I played a little quarterback in high school, and my style of play was like Tate Rodemaker, but
So you're just a more athletic Tate Rodemaker, a more impressive physical specimen.
Yeah. I was about Tate, but minus 4 inches and probably a point or two off his 40, which is saying something. So I was pretty excited about it. I'm sitting here, every mistake he makes, I'm like, it's a freshman mistake. He'll get through it. He'll learn, right?
And bump in the road.
Then they throw in Jordan Travis, and he's someone I've been wanting to see in the game a little bit more, and we've seen him move the ball down the field before, and I'm not going to lie, he looked good. And I think my biggest takeaway is that, you know how we criticized Harlan Barnett for not being able to switch from a 4-3 to a 3-4 offense or defense last year, and like how hard that is? Well, Mike Norvell has shown that he can get it done with Brady White, and he knows how to coach a more triple option, more quarterback heavy, running heavy offense, and that's really cool.
I think it's impressive. If you go back and look at Mike Norvell's history, a lot of the stuff that you guys said, he really has transformed his offense based around his skill sets. When he had, I believe, the running back, I think he plays for the Rams now, Darrell Henderson, in like 2018, one of the most run-heavy teams in the country. You get Brady White, a transfer from Arizona State, heavy on the verticality. I don't know if Mike Norvell has ever done such a full-scale transformation mid-season. Memphis people, if you mid-game, like just a fun little Jekyll and Hyde. Memphis people, if you're listening, number one, whoop that trick. Number two, please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But without further ado, guys, let's get into the meat. Let's look at some ball. Let's talk ball.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. Let's see what we got. Looks like 28-24, third quarter, 1st and 10.
Yeah, so they got a little 11 personnel in here, and you're going to hear a lot of people call this a lot of different things. You're going to hear RPO. You're going to hear zone read. This is triple option. This is triple option football, the spread style. You've got Travis and the back. I believe it's Corbin in there. Are going to make a decision. Travis is going to make a decision based off this end, and then he's going to read the flat defender of whether he's going to throw it out wide here. So he's going to read 5, and then he's going to be looking at, I can't see this player's number here accurately to tell you what his number is, but this gentleman here. And I stand corrected. There are 2 backs on the field. 2 backs on the field.
You stand corrected, Adam.
Well,
first already.
Well, they did run the backs in the slot quite a bit in this game.
What did you guys think, Kevin? What did you think of the timing of the mesh point? Is that something that obviously when you go from offense, like an offensive transition, did it look smooth to you? Were you guys impressed on the timing with this play and the timing all night, or is that something where that's an area for improvement?
Yeah, well, Jordan Travis made a lot of good reads throughout the game. At the beginning, there were a couple of iffy ones, but it's kind of funny. Tate Rodemaker ran this almost exact play on a long third down and totally missed the read. But yeah, in general, for a guy that I don't think's been getting first team reps, he did it well. But you can also assume that this has kind of been the style of offense he's played his whole life.
Okay.
So I'd like to see it speed up just a little bit more in getting a quicker decision. He should be attacking the line of scrimmage a little bit more and getting that ride with that back. I think that they can actually work on this and improve the tempo on this play, and it's going to make it more successful as they go along here.
Before we move on, was the correct read made?
Yes,
in your opinion?
Oh, definitely.
Yes,
yep. And to add on what AB was saying is for me, the screen throw is really slow, right? So that helps out the receiver. You can see it a couple times throughout the game, but in general, I'd rather him take his time and get that out there because it's just that open.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
So like you said, I think it's one of those things too, tempo, speed, just fluidity. It's almost like you just need some more reps like in game, right? It's just going to continue to improve. But it is, like you said, it is kind of reassuring that on his first one in live game action, it looked like it was supposed to, if just a little bit slower. All right, next play. Kevin, I'll let you break it down.
So actually, this one was my choice. I really like this play. So it allows you to kind of see how the triple option sets you up to be successful in other plays. So because normally in a triple option look, you're waiting for this You're waiting for this quarterback to potentially take it outside.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're forcing these linebackers to go outside with them. Yeah, here we go. So these linebackers are flowing outside because they're so worried about Jordan Travis taking this ball outside that they vacate this gap. And it opens up this huge hole for Toa Philly on this counter. So because they're so worried about this, now they're not even reading anybody. They just take this open gap right up the middle. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Well, I'd love to see it. Show me.
I just say his patience on this play is incredible too. Like for a true freshman running back, he's so patient. He just allows everything to develop in front of him. Gets in that back hip of the puller.
Oh yeah, he's a stud.
Which is key. Look at him fit though. Look at him fit on 87's back hip there. Like that's what makes this play. If he gets out in front of him, that play's dead. It's nowhere. But he fits in on that back hip and is able to get up in that hole. As who's that? Is that Bavion? Bavion's able to get just enough movement there.
Well, you got to like what you see from Love Taylor here, pulling across the formation.
Yeah.
And what's crazy, what I think is even more just encouraging about this play is you saw Love Taylor pulling from the right guard position. He must have played at least 3 to 4 different spots. This was a game where Florida State's running game got in sync while also having to deal with a ton of injuries and a ton of different combinations. So, Adam, is that just them playing better with more confidence? Is that some of the runs like this is like the scheme design? Did that help them perform better as a unit? Because there wasn't really a whole ton of continuity as far as the combinations.
No, there wasn't. I think it's 2 factors. I think the number one thing is the running backs are just getting better. They're getting better with their reads. They're getting better with their patience and their timing and finding their fits. But the second thing is, like, as soon as they started running the football, you saw a team find some confidence. They finally were like, oh, we can play football. We can do this. They weren't on their heels. They were down in a 3-point stance. They were coming off the football. I'm not saying it always looked pretty, but I thought that they found confidence when they were like, all right, we are going to run the football. We're going to find out who we finally are.
Yeah. It gave the offensive identity for the first time in probably 4 years.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. And it's nice to see Toa, like like you said, the way he hits the holes, kind of the lateral agility, staying close to the guy's hip, squeezing through.
That little jump cut into the hole there. I mean, that's just, it's good running back technique.
I like it. I like it, boys.
Whoop.
All right, Kevin. Oh yeah, whoop. Yeah, perfect for sound effects too. All right, let's go to the next one. I like it. Oh, so good so far. What do we got, my man?
All right, we got a little trips action up top here with a nub tight end. Okay, let's take a look at the play here. I believe we're going to get a little toss action out here. It's a little speed option toss. I believe if the outside backer, if the outside backer or forced defender goes wide, Travis has the opportunity to keep this ball up underneath of him. I think we see it later in the game.
We do.
Fourth quarter. Yep. So as soon as he attacks, he's going to pitch this thing out. I'm going to tell you, like, the thing I love the most is Jordan Travis after he pitches the football.
Yeah, he goes to try to block, right?
Well, it's a design of the play. I mean, it's absolutely 110%. He's trying to get downfield and just get a piece of somebody.
And he's doing the quarterback block too, where if he can't hit him, because I don't really want him to like stick somebody and get like a sting. He's doing the thing where he like is like a traffic cone and he kind of like gets in front. Yeah, I love some traffic cone blocking. That was my bread and butter.
So once 91's up the field here, he's got to obviously toss the ball because he can't. He's not. I mean, right. I guess he could outrun the kid, but they've got angles. And Toa Philly just kind of really does a lot of this on his own. There's some decent perimeter blocking out there. 22 needs to be on a body. He does his best. You know, he's a true freshman. He's trying his hardest out there. The guys are working hard. You know, you're in the third quarter here, late in the third quarter. They've been fighting hard. 80's got to do a better job blocking, and it's kind of a walk-in untouched. But this is cool action. I mean, you've got 2 plays in one that again is threatening the heck out of that defensive end and that flat defender or that force player, and they're just making these dudes make a decision.
Yeah, AB, you know what I really like about this? I really like how the counter we just saw is punishing these linebackers for flowing outside, and then you run this play, which punishes them for staying inside. You're making it so that these linebackers have no way of being right, and so it just shows that he has a coherent game plan, and he sets up plays later down in the game.
So, like, for me, and we talked about it in preseason, you and I talk about it a lot, Kev. Like, the game of football is all about conflict. It's all about putting dudes in adverse positions and impacting eyes on the defense. From an offensive standpoint, impacting eyes on the defensive side of the ball. Think about the things you've done in this game. You impacted defensive ends, you impacted linebackers with just all these reads and all this action. And suddenly now there's 8 guys, not 8 guys, I'm sorry, four different players who every player are having to think a ton about what the hell's coming at them, because is it going to be Jordan? Is it going to be a running back? Is it going to be a screen out wide? Like, they don't know what's coming.
And this is the type of stuff that Florida State's going to have to make their bread and butter on. They can't like pull like a pro style, like University of Georgia offense where they have the bodies to just run you over and over and over. It's going to take window dressing. It's going to take getting some indecision in the linebackers and linemen. So like I said, I like it. I don't really know what Bavion Johnson's kind of doing on this play. I'm glad that his like pull motion like made the linebacker stop, because he kind of just look at my guy just kind of wandering around. Like, what am I doing? 51, just hanging out. Anyway, whatever. It's a touchdown. Not going to be too critical. I like it. Simple yet effective, and builds off some of the other plays we've already seen. Let's move on to the next one, gentlemen. Kevin, talk me through. We got trips again with the little nub, the nub tight end, which for the uninitiated is just tight end at the very end of the formation, no wide receiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's the nub tight end down here. This is going to be a little bubble screen up here. So again, it's kind of making life hard on this outside linebacker here. It's just a way that you can stretch the field horizontally, which we consistently see as a big theme in Norvell's offense.
Kevin, as you're talking through this play, our fans have a deep resentment to bubble screens and wide receiver screens. Tell them why that they serve a purpose.
Yeah, so the whole, I'm sure people have heard of the spread offense, right? The spread offense is named because all you're doing is making life hard on linebackers. You're spreading them out, right? You're making this guy be wrong, this the defensive end here. And so it's a necessary evil, especially with a quarterback that's not going to be able to consistently throw the ball downfield.
Once again, with and it looks like the receiver, Ja'Kai Douglas, good catch, good run, solid gain on first down. I like it. You're ahead of the chains. Adam, do you see anything? I guess anything that jumps out to you on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's just an easy read, and this is something for fans as you guys are going forward and watching these games. Like, as you look out there, it's 3-on-3, and the inside guy is 7 yards off. They're going to throw this ball out there to him. It's just free yardage. He can't get there and make that play, assuming they get good blocks everywhere else. I mean, it's just like stealing candy there. I mean, it's free yards. It's easy money, and he's not even faking anything there. This is purely a pre-snap decision read. It's simple. They've got a lot of this built in the playbook based on fronts, based on secondaries. Like, Norvell's got a ton of looks built in and a ton of pre-snap adjustments to these different plays built into his playbook that we're only going to see it expand now as they found who they are.
Right. And like I said, the creativity is going to build, and it's just another example. Jordan Travis thrown into the game. Nobody even knew he had a functioning arm, and he makes the correct read. He makes the correct read in a game that we're still losing to an FCS opponent right now. There's a decent amount of pressure on this drive, and
absolutely,
I like it, man. Simple yet effective. We'll take it, Kevin.
9
Kevin,
yards
anything?
On 1st and 10.
Absolutely. Anything else before we move on to the next one that you two want to comment on this guy?
Yeah, it's just, I think last year in the quarterback that we had starting previous games, if it's 1st and 10, is trying to get 12 yards in one throw. And, this is just a way to get the chains moving. And it's something that's important in the game of football.
Kevin, you're a classy guy, but you can say the words James Blackman. He's not Voldemort. It's okay to say his name. You can invoke the name of former FSU quarterback James Blackman.
I met the guy in a mall one time. I shook his hand. I told him I was rooting for him. So he was a nice guy. I don't want to talk too bad about him.
It's fine. Hey, man, it is what it is. He's made some good plays and a great Seminole. Let's move on to the next one.
Here we go. This is the boot bomb to Terry.
Go ahead, Adam. Talk to me about boot bombs, brother.
Yeah, I mean, so they've been running the football. They're coming out of the half here, and they're going to take a shot play. It's nice seeing Terry get open deep. This is a little over concept, so he's just going to run a deep post. and then the receivers at the top of the screen are going to run kind of unders. They're going to run at these safeties and just try to catch their eyes and get them off of Terry helping deep. And as soon as they step up, it's shot play all day to Terry.
Right, I want
And
to
the nice part is they protected it well enough that you could get the football off. I mean, that's something we haven't done, but now you've been running the football. That defensive line's got to respect it.
What do you guys think of the pass protection in the Norvell scheme versus last year? You can see Maurice Smith kind of like pulling on the boot action. Like, does it seem to be like a more active form of like pass protection instead of just standing there and letting yourself get lit on fire by the defensive player?
Well, it's just good to get someone like him out of the pocket, you know? So if this doesn't clear, you know you can have him scramble for 2-3 easy yards. He doesn't have to get nervous being a pocket passer. I just like the design of the play.
I think they simplified things for the running backs a lot this year. They're just inserting them where they kind of know they need to be or feel like they need to be, and hoping. Well, I mean, they're hoping for the best that's where it shows up, and a lot of times they've been right. I mean, there was some stat about that James has had the most time of any quarterback, or like he's had so much, like a lot of time.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what exactly it was. He was like top 10 or something for time in the pocket or some crazy stat like that. I don't know what the heck that crap means, but
talk ball. I just look at the ball.
Hey, I mean, come on, just tell me what
look
you know.
at you
Tell me who's blocking Tell me who's blocking the 3 tech. That's all the hell I want to know.
Tell me where the nub is. I don't talk about the nub.
But seriously though, like I think they just have simplified the scheme for them, and I think that they've got guys in better places. Maurice Smith at center is a much better athlete, much better lateral mover than Bavion has ever been.
Yeah,
I think that makes a big difference in the middle of that defense, because if you go back and watch last year's games, the interior pressure was a bigger issue than tackle pressure. And I know everybody wanted to harp on tackle, and they sucked at tackle, and they're still kind of some suckage there. But the interior pressure last year was horrible, and a lot of it was because Bavion just couldn't move his freaking feet, and now they can.
Kevin,
I want to direct your eyes to Maurice Smith, who I circled a second ago. He doesn't block anybody, but he looks good in space.
It's agile. He's agile.
Good lateral ability. Quick before we move on to the next one. Thoughts on Tamorrion Terry's overall game? Did you think it was solid enough to classify this as a bounce back game? Technically, it was a bounce back game because nothing happened in the first 2 games. But how'd you think Terry looked in general on Saturday?
Yeah, when he first got that screen pass in the first quarter, we don't have the clip, but he kind of looked injured. He looked hesitant, and then when he comes back here, this looks like Terry of old. That was a great catch he made on the slant in the first quarter with that tape.
Strong hands, yeah.
I don't know if it's a bounce back game, but it's definitely a good sign that he's playing. He blocked for several screen passes, and that's something that shows a devotion to the team more than a devotion to self, which is the concern with a star wide receiver.
I'll just say he's showing investment. And that, for me, we'll see what the numbers are going to be at the year's end. But he's shown some investment here after a week where people were talking about him quitting and talking about him arguing with Dugans on the sideline. And I called him out last week, but hey, he showed up and balled.
Investment, buying into our Herbalife scheme. Recruit all your family members. I love it. Let's move on to the next one.
They do run man coverage, folks.
This is man. This is what happens.
What's the issue here, Kevin? What happened? Miscommunication, just getting beat, like slow reaction time? What happened?
Yeah, let's take a look at it because I think it's important that we do. This running back is running a wheel out of the backfield, and then there's some kind of slant or in route here. And basically he's just setting a pick on this linebacker because we know that Emmett Rice isn't athletic enough to cover anybody in space. And some teams, the way that they do this is they'll bracket this receiver. So basically, if he has any in route, this guy has him. And if anybody that comes outside, this guy will have. And I don't know if they're trying to do that or not. But either way, there needs to be some communication that there's this pick coming or that there's this wheel coming, and there's just no communication.
So they ran it so poorly, we actually have no idea what they're trying to do on this play.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, 27's got to pass this off to 1. Dent's got to pass this off to Rice, and he's just got to be communicating like in, right. And he's got to pass off that wheel route. I mean, or at least let Rice know that pick is coming. I mean, it's right in front of you. You got to be able to talk that out. so that Rice could take a better angle and get over top of it. And at least it's not a 30-yard gain because Jaden Lars Woodby's.
Yeah, Jaden Lars Woodby lays the lumber here, doesn't he?
Look at him finish him off. The brutality.
A little Sean Taylor
potential target.
lookalike right here.
Trey Marshall reincarnated. Cool.
But like, here's the thing. So
anything.
here's your man coverage. Well, guess what, guys? There's man beaters out there, and I talked about in the preview on the Seminole Rap Pod that this is one of their favorite plays, and knew it was going to be happening if they were going to run a ton of man.
Now, okay, before we move on to the next one, Adam and Kevin, the disdain for Adam Fuller, defensive coordinator, is real, and it mostly stems from the perceived underuse of man coverage. I'm not going to have you go into it. I'm sure that's something we can go into in fair detail in another, give him a tease, keep him wanting more. Does Adam cover, how much, percentage-wise, how much do you think Adam Fuller's using man coverage? Both of you.
This last game, I think he ran it probably 70% of the time. They ran a decent amount of man.
Yeah, I would say the first two games it was probably 30, 35%, somewhere in that ballpark, maybe 25 to 35. It was definitely 50 and above this game. They pressed a lot more in this game, and they still got beat. It's what it is. I do think the defense played better. I don't want to go into it all. Again, we're going to tease. I do think the defense actually played better. The numbers might not show that, but there were a couple drives that there were some situations that kind of played out in Jacksonville State's favor that I don't think on a lot of other drives they were able to get up in their face and do a lot of stuff against them.
This next one, what do we got here? We're up by 10 at this point, 3rd and 2, and we give up. We give it up. Why do we give it up?
Here's another thing. You got man across the board, right? You can tell because, they're facing their man.
Press man.
Yeah, it's press man. This is what everybody wants. This is what everybody's calling for.
What could go wrong?
Unfortunately, we've played 3 running quarterbacks in 3 games. And when you run press man, you're vulnerable to the quarterback scramble because all of these guys have their backs turned.
So Kev, what's one of the benefits to zone?
Well, it's the best coverage you want to run if you want to slow down the running game, right? Because now all your linebackers and all your corners and your safeties are looking at the quarterback, having their eyes in the backfield, and it's much easier to trigger downfield on something like this.
What is Leonard Warner doing on this play?
You know what's crazy? PFF, he graded out the highest for linebackers.
No, but I guess he has responsibility. He has responsibility for the running back in pass coverage. Is that why he's going to the right? Was there a good fake?
So it
looks like
seems
not.
He doesn't know that Robinson's taking him.
Yeah, it seems like he doesn't know that Robinson's going to peel with that wheel route. Which
Janarius has him. Was it a called blitz? You see the
46,
linebacker.
46 is coming. Lundy's coming there. True freshman DJ Lundy, who just wants to run into something.
Yeah, it's just a sledgehammer. He's fun. He's a wrestler, so I have love in my heart for him. Okay, this play could have had a Leonard Warner on Zarek Cooper one-on-one. They probably still get the first down, in my opinion, but
he's just stuck between a crap and a fart there. Like, what are you doing, buddy?
That's a short play.
But this is a linebacker play we've been talking about all year long, and it's just it's going to lead me to question why isn't Chris Marv getting through to these guys? Where's the disconnect there? We've talked about consistency and all that in the past. You would hope that we weren't seeing that at this point in the season.
All right, so this is my theory on this, right? Normally in this situation, whichever side this running back will release to, that linebacker has him, and I think he just forgets that he sees this blitz, and I think he just forgets that this is a peel off, and he just gets lost. I think this is a product not of bad defensive coordinating because he should be here to fill this gap.
Yep.
It's a product of just the 3.5 practices they've had so far.
Yeah.
All right. Continue. I just saw that, and like I said, if it's glaring enough for a big dumb idiot like myself to see it, I just want some third party confirmation.
No, it's a glaring issue though because he should be standing there. I mean, and again, he might not make the play, but he should still be there. He's not. What do we got here? Run that back. We got a little RPO action here. And just they're just picking on another linebacker. I mean, they're putting these linebackers in a lot of bad positions. First, Steven Dix he's up in the backfield. Like we've talked about triggering. this is just undisciplined eyes. He's not trusting his read here. He's not trusting what's going on. And then 33 widens a little bit too much. He kind of gets stuck to, and they just going to throw it behind his head.
Is that too much space for Amari Gaynor to operate on?
Yeah, go ahead, Kev.
I would ask the same question, because normally I would say no, he looked good this season so far, but this game they took advantage of him several times out in space.
Yeah.
Not that he's unathletic or anything, but I see him as more of a run disrupting, 3-4, like one of those traditional guys you see like in the NFL, right? Like one of those like havoc wreakers, because he's an athletic dude and he's played well. I see him there getting taken advantage of a slot route in the, like a post route in the slot. I think I could see that happening over and over and over again.
But
I'm concerned about eyes. I'm concerned about eye discipline. I just feel like this is in my opinion, a pretty easy read. He doesn't even give very much of a realistic ride here. And again, it's early in the game, but Gaynor's seen a lot of balls going out to the flats, and he's probably chasing ghosts out there. He needs to be a little more disciplined with his eyes, though, in my opinion. But as for your question, I've been back and forth. I've talked about him playing the Fox. I think that they're probably worried about whether he can set an edge well enough at that Fox position against some of the tackles they're going to see. So I do worry about that. I think he plays well in space. I think this is just one of those games where they really put him in a bind. And Cooper was a good quarterback and was able to get the ball up fast.
so
I agree with that.
Here's my deal about this play is when we play North Carolina, like 40% of their plays are going to be this. They run this play all the time, and you need to find out a way to stop it. And so I think the widely accepted way to try to stop this play is you see this formation, you see the back on this side, you know if they're running this RPO post here, that this guy's reading this outside linebacker. So generally you want to send him pretty hard to try to stop this run, because he's not even looking here. So they're trying to take advantage of a lesser box, but if you send him hard, then that kind of mitigates that, and you keep him back, so you make them hand the ball off into a more loaded box, and he's guarding space. He's guarding nothing.
Yeah, we're not really taking anything away. At
Yeah.
least, ideally, you want to take away both. Most of the time, you're only taking away one. We have multiple times through the season taken away nothing.
So they did it more in this game, where they went into a more of a nickel look, depending on personnel. They brought in Jarvis Brownlee and put him in the slot, and they took the stud backer out. I'm wondering if going forward we're going to see more of that. This is a 6'8" tight end here who was an All-American in the FCS division last year. So I'm sure they were trying to match that up with Gaynor and him. But I'm wondering against some of these more spread offenses where they're going to have more receiver bodies out there, if we see more of that nickel look down the road. But
Right.
Kev's right. I mean, this is again, I go back to eye discipline. Gaynor's got to know he's staring at me for a reason. Like, I need to squat and know what's coming, and they're just not doing it. They're not there.
And to be fair, beginning of the game, 7-0, the defense got better as the game went on. So it's, like I said, a play that's representative of much of the team's play, but the defense did get better as the game went on.
Yep. So that's all we got, Trey.
That's what we got. Okay. So overall, my thoughts. Big
Give it
dumb
to
idiot
us.
thoughts. I'm going to let it ride. Like I said, the pyramid scheme is being built. We have something to build on. We've got an identity, right? Like you said, we have a legitimate offensive identity. And now that Mike Norvell has something to sink his teeth into, of something that we can do well, I think that's where you see the creativity. We have seen a lot of creativity, in my opinion, for the first 3 games, just not a lot of success and execution. They did so many things from that Miami game that just didn't work, but they're willing to do anything. I do see Mike Norvell as a guy that's willing to do whatever. So now that he knows what works, now that you've got some sort of personnel set as far as what's happening with your quarterback position, this isn't a team that's going to, like, we're not going to rip off 9 wins in a row. I'm not trying to be overly positive, but at least you know what you do well. As far as the defensive side, we showed a lot of negative because it still wasn't a great performance. Jacksonville State moved the ball at will at the beginning of the game, but they played press more. They played man more. They were more physical, in my opinion. there were some positive signs, like that last drive of the game. A Florida State team with the second team defense and gives up that touchdown, usually 10 times out of 10 the past like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
They didn't. It's a mindset. It's slow. It's gradual. It takes time. But I saw positives on both sides of the ball, obviously more so with the offense and the defense. Adam and then Kevin, and then we'll end this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying there. The biggest thing for me was just I think the offense found an identity, and then the team itself found an identity. After Travis came in and took over, they just, I don't know, they took on his personality. They got lighter. They were happier. They were flying around more.
You see him smiling out there?
Yeah, I mean, it just
smiles.
It's so crazy to say, but like people have talked about it, and it's always been like, oh, whatever. But like everybody seemed to take on the tightness that James Blackman seemed to have in games, and then you saw Jordan come in, and it was like, whew. Like there was like this relief that they were finally able to do something. And the thing that I like the most is Jordan is a good natural bridge to Chuba. And I don't want to, jump the gun and already.
Look at you! Just enjoy the moment.
No. I'm not going to do it because Chuba Purdy is the future of this program, in my opinion. And he's got that arm. He's got that running ability. This is just a good natural bridge to whenever he's ready. Because I know they're going to play him. It's going to happen. I'm not going to live in the moment. I'm full on Chuba. I'm ready for Chuba to be in there. But I just hope that they can continue to find this happiness and like this peace that they found in this game. And look, it's not going to continue. They're not going to beat Notre Dame. They're not going to beat, spoiler alert, they're not going to beat Clemson. But just continue to build on what you got and find progress.
Kevin, the floor is yours, my man.
I wanted to throw AB a quick question. So
yeah, go ahead.
Let's say we get blown out by Notre Dame, and we turn around and play. I don't know who comes after that. I think North Carolina.
Yeah, I think so.
So how long if Chuba's healthy, how long does Travis have? Like how many games can we lose with Travis before Chuba gets the start?
If Jordan plays well, he stays.
Okay.
But as soon as he shows chinks in the armor, which you've got to be worried about the arm and his ability to throw the football and spread the football around through the passing part of the game, which they're going to have. I know we're talking identity with running game, but he's going to have to be able to throw the ball more moving forward. As soon as those chinks in the armor start to show themselves and Chuba's healthy and ready to go, that's when you make the move, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm worried about Chuba because he's been healthy now he's been practicing for 2 weeks. So I think he must not have enough time to have grasped the playbook to a significant extent or something. I don't really know.
Well, preseason, you got to think of what Mike Norvell was looking at his offense. I've got a deep ball thrower with James Blackman. I've got an all-conference receiver in Tamorrion Terry. He was probably thinking, I'm going to base this offense on verticality, just on steroids.
Absolutely.
And then what happened? The quarterback didn't perform. The receivers didn't perform. So the thing that you based your entire offense on, which was a very truncated window, you're not that. And now this team, what we think is the offensive identity, is so far removed from probably what Mike Norvell even thought it was. We'll see what Jordan Travis can do. There's a talented freshman. There's a talented Chuba lurking in the weeds. But I feel happy. I'm happy with the team. Talk to me next time for our next episode. We'll see. But guys, I'm happy with the team. I'm happy with this performance. This was the first ever triple option, and my God, well-oiled machine, boys. Listen, if you liked it, we're coming at you weekly. Just an all-out assault. We're going to be on your eyes and on your ears. Just you can't get away from us. For Coach Adam Brown, for the video man, the video vice lord, Kevin Little, I am Trey Rowland. You have just partaken in the experience that is the triple option. Please continue to listen. Tell your friends, because what you going to do, brother, when the triple option runs wild over you?
Go Noles.